Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments, playing whenever you want. Got a player who's hurt? No problem. Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000, another turned $2 into $10,000, and a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings. Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. If you'd like to call in, the number is 585-633-7487. I'm joined tonight by EJ Christian. EJ, how you doing?
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It would have been a little bit better if the Knicks had pulled off a win against your lovely Miami Heat, but that did not happen. The Knicks, it's depressing. It just keeps getting worse. Do you think they should just scrap the triangle offense for this year because of how many dumb people they have on their team? Or keep it going?
I don't think it's scrap anything. I mean, I just think it's a process that they were building. We spoke off the air about this. I mean, I think even during the summer when you had appearances on the show and on my show too, with the Knicks and their expectations for this year, I think, even with Carmelo Anthony being here for another 5 years, the expectation going into the season really was that they'd wait out this season so they can. They're not going to win probably more than 40 games, probably worse than that now, given the start how bad it is. And you're after the season, they'll have a pretty healthy cap room going to the free agency next season. Marty Stoudemire's contract will go off the books. I believe the only guys on the books to leave after the season is Carmelo and Calderon. So they'll have cap room in place to sign quality guys and guys that Phil and Derek Fisher can bring into the system. So it's right now. I think the word patience should be stressed in New York City in terms of this team going forward.
Do you think Melo, that Melo is a guy that can lead the Knicks to a championship? And if so, what pieces do you think the Knicks have to put around him for that to be possible?
Well, I don't see why he could. I think I don't see why he couldn't do it. I think the issue of Melo is more the mindset. Anybody can be any star player, including Carmelo Anthony, could be a guy that can actually compete for championships. The question is going to be, are they willing to make the proper sacrifices to do that? People swear Michael Jordan was this guy that was championship made from the word go. It took him a process. It took him 6 years, and in the same scenario too. Phil Jackson came into Chicago in 1989. It took 2 years for Jordan to fall into the triangle and all that, and it worked. So Carmelo could do it, of course. It's a matter of, is he willing to make the sacrifices to do it? Become a little more unselfish, trusting guys to do their roles, because a lot of the triangle is based on trust. And obviously this roster isn't good enough to even probably make a postseason in the Eastern Conference, for crying out loud. So, but I wouldn't necessarily give the Knicks I wouldn't shorten the Knicks right now anyway. Next season you should really start being a little more curious as to what progress are going to be or should be made going forward.
Even with the new offense, new coach, new mentality, it doesn't feel like they're bad. The team is bad, but I don't feel like this should be a team that's 4-15 right now, and has no no hope whatsoever of getting to the playoffs. This should be, at least with Melo, you should be able to make at least a 6 or a 7 at the very least in the Eastern Conference.
Well, the problem with that is the Eastern Conference is actually a little bit better now. When you broke up the Heat, you broke up the Big Three, Miami, it kind of sort of stabilized and spread out the wealth, if you will, in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland wasn't even in the mix last year, is now only projected to be a top 2 or 3 seed in the East. Miami's still competitive, so they'll be in the mix. There's a lot of teams in the East who are projected to be better than they were in the last couple seasons. So, and New York's roster, in my opinion, is so disjointed anyway. So it's hard to, I would have said the Knicks teams last year should have been a little bit better than they were. But this year, no. This year, it's very disjointed. It's a very odd roster, and it's more so a makeshift roster to hold the fort down until next season. Like I said, the logic comes to the year was give it a year, be patient, and then 2015 will be the year that Phil and Fisher make their big moves. So you're a Knicks fan, obviously. I know you're impatient. I know you're tired of this rebuilding process for seems like an eternity, but you have to be patient, man. You got to be patient, and I say trust Phil. See what he does. I mean, it couldn't go worse, right?
That's true. I'm not terribly impatient. I'm just impatient with, the whole, I guess J.R. Smith, and it's just been move after move after move over the past 10 years that it's just been questionable. Like even the trade for Melo, picking him up and just gutting their entire roster for Melo. I mean, he's a great player, but I mean, they got rid of quite a few good pieces in that process. I mean, Mozgov, they
Gallinari.
Amari's been ruined ever since that. Felton was a disaster after that. When he left and came back, Gallinari. I mean, you just look at how that trade kind of, they got a 2 seed or a 3 seed, but that trade really hasn't had a great impact on the Knicks.
Well, I mean, you got to admit all of it. Remember, you were 2 seed 2 seasons ago. There was a lot of talk that they could be a team to challenge the Heat. And I remember a couple of years ago we had a discussion about whether the Knicks can actually challenge the top of the East, and obviously they didn't do that. But we've seen some good basketball with Melo, and we've seen some bad. We've seen the polar opposite of both, and I think that's the issue, is that we haven't seen anything in between. We've seen a pretty good Knicks team who was competing on top of the East for a year or two, and then we see a Knicks team that's been really, really, really bad. So it's one of those things where you're just confused and wondering what is their direction, and like I said, you can't change the past. It is what it is. Melo's here. Melo's committed for another 5 years. It's a matter now of whether this front office with Phil Jackson and company, you're putting your faith in those guys and their knowledge into a franchise that's been crying for a winner for well over a decade. Forget championships. This team being competitive and being a team that's in the mix. I mean, I'm sure they fans would rather be in the mix right now than nothing at all. So you'll see what happens going forward. I think even though we may speculate in terms of do we trust Phil? Remember, he's his first year doing this job as a president and de facto GM. I do think that he deserves at least the respect to turn this around, considering the fact that he has a resume, yay big of success. He deserves that much respect to at least try to turn this around.
With your Miami Heat, have you liked what you've seen so far early this season?
In part, yeah. I mean, when Dwayne Wade's healthy, I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, first game back tonight in almost 3 weeks, and he had 28 points. He had, I think, 14 in the fourth quarter. When he's in the lineup, he's definitely a pretty good team. But the same issues apply even with LeBron's here. Same issues. They're a very small team. There's a lot of flaws. There's a lot of developing going on through this team. I think this team's it's still a work in progress. I'm actually working on a column for HaHaHoops.com about this for this week. Whether, just talking about the fact that I don't think we're really going to know how good this team's going to be until probably February. There's a lot of things going on here. A lot of adjusting. Lowell Day hasn't adjusted fully up to the system. Shabazz Napier is, getting quality minutes now late in games as opposed to Norris Cole. You have Dwayne Wade's issues, although I think a lot of it's precautionary more than anything else. So there's a lot of, Joshua Roberts, he had a toe injury during the season into the preseason, so he hasn't been fully healthy. They're slowly moving back into the fold. So I don't think we'll really how good this team is by February, March.
I still think, exactly what you said is we're not going to see how good this team. It's kind of I hate to bring up the Grizzlies again, but it's kind of like the Grizzlies, where
right.
This team, it's just about getting to the playoffs, and they have a style that that can be successful in the Eastern Conference. I still think they are capable of making the Eastern Conference Finals. I still think that they're capable of beating, maybe not Bulls and the Cavs in a playoff run, but I think if they get matched up with one of those two, they're going to come out on top because of, especially against the Cavs, just that experience factor. They got junkyard dogs like, Josh McRoberts. I feel like this Miami team is going to be sneaky. Everybody liked them at the beginning of this season. They've kind of cooled off on them. I'm still a fan of what they got and the rotations they have, and they also probably have the best coach in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can. All this is also predicated on health. If this is a healthy lineup and these guys are playing at the best ability, I'm sure they can give a scare, the Cavs a scare. I don't expect them to win the East. I think depending on the matchups forward, they can definitely make a run probably for a conference title or at least be in the mix for that. But you do have a lot more better teams in the Eastern Conference now. It's more than just Chicago and Cleveland. You have Toronto now. Granted, they lost DeMar DeRozan for indefinite. I don't know how long for, but I mean they had a great start. Washington is really, really good. Got all pairs there alongside the young Bucks there. So it's not just those two teams in Miami. There's a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference that are actually playing pretty well. And give those teams on the credit. Now, will they be in the mix in 2 months? That remains to be seen. But to put it in the Heat, though, it depends on their health. It all depends on availability. If Dwayne Wade is down, as you see, they are a totally different team with Dwayne Wade on the court. And Dwayne Wade is not just Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is now not just scoring, facilitating a lot. He's making plays now the same way when he was here. And so it's a lot of responsibility in terms of being a playmaker, which is great for this team because their new philosophy now is to pass the ball, create shots, pretty much embrace the San Antonio way of doing things now. So that's something that we can look forward to going forward. If Wade's healthy, definitely they could be in the mix. With that experience they have in that team, their championship they've had for the last 4 years and certainly even longer than that, they can't be counted out. That definitely not be counted out at all.
Of the, throughout the entire NBA, who has been the biggest disappointment? Actually, let's just go Eastern Conference. Who has been the biggest disappointment? Take the Knicks out of the equation.
No, Knicks aren't in there. I'm not supporting the Knicks. In the East, I want to